Hey guys, Chuke here with Chuke's Outdoor Adventures, and I got
Corey from Hammerheart Outdoors.
and I wanted to do a video on a case for the Taurus Revolver. Now we both have Taurus 44 Magnums. They're both safe, but Taurus gets a bad rep sometimes. I think people say they have poor quality control. I think it's just they have so many guns. I mean, South America, the Taurus is the #1 gun. It's one of the biggest gun manufacturers in the world. I mean, it's one of the most inexpensive ones. Sure, the quality may not be the same as Smith & Wesson. I'm not really big on their semi-autos, but I think that their revolvers are fine. And I've had Taurus Tracker before. So
yeah, it's a revolver. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, nothing's making any new and stuff. I mean, what else does Taurus make? Did they make the Raging Bull?
They make the Raging Bull, and this is actually on that Raging Bull frame, which is interesting. So tell us about your Taurus.
So mine's a 5-shot 44 Magnum. I've had this for probably about 4 or 5 years or something like that now.
It's the Tracker.
Yeah, the Tracker. It's like I said, it's a thin framed pistol, so your buffalo bore rounds aren't recommended for use. And you said you shot them through a Taurus Tracker before, right?
I've shot buffalo bore through Taurus Tracker. Yeah, they work, but yeah, it's not recommended for.
I mean, when you look at those like toe clats or like the Raging Bulls and stuff, you definitely notice a significant difference in just the thickness, the overall frame thickness of the weapon itself. So, you know, honestly, I didn't know that. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh yeah, run out and get some buffalo boar. And I was actually at Chuke the other day when we went up to, was it not Pioneer Peak, Near Point or whatever, that you were telling me about that. I'm like, oh crap, so anybody wants to buy a box of buffalo boar 44 Magnum and stuff, let me know. But anyway, I went with the was it underwear penetrators or
extreme penetrators?
Yeah, extreme penetrators and stuff. And these they mentioned that they're fine for use in any stock pistol. The only I haven't really made any changes with it. I've been carrying it for so long that I've actually had to go ahead and put some like orange paint on the front side posts and stuff, which is something I actually kind of really like doing, is that orange like dot paint stuff on the front side posts to make them out from the thing. And then the rear sight notch, but they're adjustable rear sights for elevation and windage too, which is actually kind of nice.
That's pretty affordable too. You can get one of those for what, $500 now?
Yeah, I can't remember exactly how much I paid for this thing, but I went with the stainless because, you know what I mean, it tends to be in a holster a lot, and it just, you know, it tends to get really wet, so I didn't really want to deal with any kind of surface rust and stuff. But tell me about yours. That one is actually pretty impressive.
So this is the Taurus 444 ultralight titanium, and this thing is just let's see how. Oh yeah, it's lighter than that, and you've got a smaller frame, so
yeah.
It's super light.
It looks bigger, but I mean, like it's astronomical the difference how light this one is to what this one is.
It feels like you're holding a little squirt gun, like a plastic squirt gun. It feels like nothing, but it's got this what do you call these things? Fiber optic front sight.
Is it glow in the dark kind of?
Yeah, just when in low light, it'll glow a little bit. Adjustable rear sight, and it's got 6 shots compared to yours.
Yeah.
The only lame thing, and Chuck was trolling me for this, is it's got, just to make it more efficient in the design, it's got a double latch system. So you can't really undo it with one hand. So if you're getting attacked by a bear, you shoot it 6 times, you need to drop whatever you're doing and use both hands to get the cylinder open. So that I don't really like, but it is. It makes it pretty sturdy with 2 locking points. So
yeah, well, unless you're carrying speed loaders and stuff, I mean,
right.
You know, right. I know people have trained with revolvers. Like, I'll be honest with you, like, you know, when people talk about breaking in pistols and stuff, I mean, I'll shoot like thousands around through like Glocks and stuff like that, but I might have like not even 100 rounds through this thing just because, you know, I have it zeroed, you know what I mean, as far as rear sight's concerned and stuff. Yeah. But you know what I mean, they're just ass kickers, and you know what I mean, like shooting these things.
Those are painful to shoot too. Yeah. I remember my.
It's a smaller gun and stuff too, but I mean, it definitely kicks your ass when you're shooting this thing.
Yeah, and this has got the red stripe here. It's the Raging Bull frame, but yeah, this was so painful to shoot that I was shooting these Hornady. What are they?
225s.
225 FTX, and I only got 5 shots. I couldn't even shoot the 6th shot because it hurt so bad. And it was just breaking my palm. But the thing I like about this is it's so light that on my mountain hunts, I've got the mountain rifle, the 4 or 5 pound mountain rifle. Now I'll just slap this on my belt. I don't think I'll get a chest holster for this one. I'll just get a belt holster, and that I can just, with my lightweight backpack, my lightweight rifle, I can just go all day, camp out in the mountains, and that's what I like it for. So the pluses outweigh the minuses in my mind, because I'm using this as a mountain gun, and I need everything ultralight, and this is super, it's called the ultralight, so I'm happy with it.
Like you had mentioned about like being ultralight and stuff like that and reloading. Like I actually know a guy that got attacked by a brown bear, and he got messed up pretty bad. He's a big dude too, and he was carrying a gun on him, but like he had said that bear was on him so quick that like. Yeah. It's like all the things you think in your head, like, oh, I'm going to pull out the gun and stuff, and I'm going to, give like 5 or 6 well-placed shots. And then you want to talk about like, oh, well, it has this thing where it's got to do this. Like, let's be realistic about this stuff. You know what I mean? Like, do you really think that matters and stuff? You're going to have basically 6 shots or 5 shots, and you better make them count, because if you even get off the entire amount that's in the cylinder, you're lucky. But a lot of people, like, I don't know, it's one of the things that drives me nuts as far as firearms and stuff is what people think is going to happen, but like when you start trying to like, bring like realism in like real world situations, people get surprised. It's like, oh God. And then you're like, unless you're like a Navy SEAL or something like that, where you're just like the instant pull out the gun and stuff and you're ready and stuff. Most people, like, I've come up on black bears where I'm like, whoa, black bear, and I'm like, oh, I have a gun, I should pull out. You know what I mean? Like, there's that hesitation. Same. And you're either going to get attacked, or you're going to, like, I don't know. Everyone says, like, they want to think that they're going to rise to the occasion, but they're only going to actually sink to the, like, what they've been trained to do. So that's when instinct kicks in. So, when, like, we have that two-fingered thing and stuff like that, like, you basically have what's in that gun, and that's it. As far as I'm concerned, especially with how fast I saw 2 of them last night. We were flying around, and those things just like they cover ground fast. And the stuff that takes us a long time to like walk through, like alders and stuff, they just mow through it like full bore. And
it's like a tank.
Yeah.
I would rather have my 10 millimeter just because I would get a lot more shots out. Realistically, if I was charged by a bear with the way I control this and it kicks, I'd be lucky to get 2 shots on a charging brown bear at close range. So you just got to make sure you're aiming at the right spot. So, but yeah, like I said, it's so light that I think that it's a good choice, because when I go out in the mountains, I'm going to want something super light. So.
Yeah, it's funny when you really kind of think about it. I've taken a couple classes from it, in the military and the civilian side as far as shooting, and everything they go by is by what's the lessons learned, on like actual things like police interventions and stuff where they've had to use pistols, or military things where they've had to use pistols. And not a lot of knowledge really exists for, like bear encounters as far as, like there's, books written about it. There's like Alaska Bear Tales and stuff, but you're either going to get the chance, and if you are smart enough and you get your gun out and stuff, and there have been bears shot, but it's, a lot of times you're surprised by it, and it's over before you even have a chance to pull out the gun. So
yeah, and I think these Tauruses are just fine, especially for your first 44 Magnum. They're a little more inexpensive. Next year I'm going to get another Ruger Alaskan Red Hawk 44, and I'm going to Magnaport it. Or actually, I'll have some local people put some ports in it. And I was going to get rid of this, but after seeing how light it is, it's going to be useful, so I'm going to keep this too. So,
With that being said, I wanted to kind of segue into my Diamond D leather holster. I think I brought this out when I first bought it, and I think the first time I took it out was that time we went out to Near Point there. I've done maybe a handful of hikes with it this summer so far, and I'm starting to notice a little bit of damage in the leather there. And I kind of knew this was going to be kind of an issue and stuff, because like when I go hiking, I go like far, like 20 miles. So I'm sweating a lot and stuff, and I knew this like kind of sweat stuff was going to be an issue. But I ended up having to go to Tandy Leather and get like a leather conditioning and like saddle soap and then this other stuff. So I'm hoping this thing holds up because it's a really nice holster.
Oh yeah, you can't go wrong with that. I let those things mold. That's my problem. So
yeah,
I'm sticking with Kydex, but those are really nice.
Yeah, Kydex seems to be the way to go because you know, you get it wet, it's not going to matter, and especially with like, you know what I mean, just like whatever the synthetic material is and stuff that the straps come with and stuff like that. But kind of I'm a little concerned and stuff with this when I see like, I mean, when you look into that, I mean, would you consider that cracking or?
I think it'll be fine. It's just cosmetic. It's just the mold.
Yeah.
The mold you'll want to worry about.
Yeah.
And so as long as you wipe it down and put the oil on.
Yeah, I'm keeping it, you know, drying it out after every use. But I mean, this thing definitely gets soaked after every use. And just, you know, like getting sweated on and stuff like that. But
yeah, guides always go with that. That's like an old school guide holster. You can't go wrong with it. So let me know what you guys think about Taurus revolvers. Yes or no? Yeah, they're more inexpensive. It's not the same as a Smith & Wesson or a Ruger, but I think they're just fine. And if you're starting out with a limited budget, I'd say get a Taurus. Just don't shoot the big buffalo bore, you know, 320s out of it. Shoot extreme penetrators or, you know, a jacketed soft point or something.
Yeah, one thing I noticed and stuff when it comes to like guns in general and stuff is you seem to be on the same kind of par with me and stuff. Is that we're multifaceted when it comes to shooting. We're outdoorsmen. We hunt. We shoot pistols, carry on a daily basis. We might shoot ARs, Galeos, whatever and stuff. Where maybe some people who are like, hey, I'm a hunter. I know about hunting rifles and stuff. And when I bought this thing, I just spent like 17 grand on 18 acres out in the Yetna. So I didn't have like just like
$1,000.
Yeah, $1,000 laying around for like just some huge hand cannon. I do get out and I try to leverage everything with like it's not so much the equipment as what you put into it, you know what I mean, the training and stuff like that. I try to take this as much as possible and like basically maybe if I'm just running like one 5-round cylinder through it, but drawn from a holster and stuff. And I know you've done a video and stuff with with the bear target coming towards you and stuff. I think that's the majority and stuff. I mean, nowadays most of these pistols off the shelf are good to go as they are. Yeah. And I think you really notice the people who are like, I'm a pistol guy, I only shoot pistols, that's what I know, and I may not know anything about hunting or may not really care about bears or, you know what I mean, like having to work, like build a cabin while carrying a pistol. So things like, you know what I mean, like there's like a middle ground that I think where people like me and you exist, where it's like, yeah, maybe I don't have this tricked out Glock or some crazy like $8,000 accuracy international gun, but the guns we do have we use, and we use them for what they're intended for, and I mean, but like I said, it all comes down to practice and actually using the weapon and being good with it, so that like your killer instincts always have to be honed and stuff, especially when it comes to being outdoors. And up here is like, how many bear attacks have there been so far? I mean,
there's been a handful this summer already.
Yeah. They still haven't found the one that killed that guy out in Eagle River, and that was a brown bear. Yeah. Then they shot like 3 black bears that tore up some like homeless meth head chicks tent.
Sweet.
Yeah, I mean, there's garbage all over the place, and surprise, bears show up. But you know what I mean. I'm not a fan, or I'm not the enemy of the bear. I'm not was it Timothy Treadwell, Mr. Bearman, or anything like that. But you know what I mean. Just be smart, I guess.
I'd choose a bear over a meth head, I guess.
Yeah, I know, it's kind of like nature's natural selection.
But really, you're Mr. Moneybags AGR, so you should have bought a Ruger.
I got a whole lot of money and stuff. I don't sell guns as much as Chuke does and stuff. I kind of stick with them and stuff. But I do sell guns that I don't use. Like when I don't use them a whole lot, it's just kind of. Outdoor adventure. No.